Love rap.
Well,
Yeah.
speaking of which, man, I saw this post, and we saw it in the group that we were in. Actually, my guy over at Boom Bap Nation, man, I think he posted it originally. They were asking, and I'm glad this narrative's out there. What is the best beat that Nas has ever rhymed on? And I love the fact that we're highlighting great beats that Nas has rhymed on because there was a slew of answers. And yeah, I want to ask y'all in the chat right now, like, what's the best beat Nas ever rhymed on?
So, Mike, your answer was made you look because I saw your answer when I popped up in the group and I saw the question. I was like, that's a great question. We should talk about it on the show.
I mean, off the top, and I said off the top of my head without thinking. You know what I mean? The first ones that came to mind for me were "Made You Look" and "The World Is Yours."
Those are definitely two of the best ones. Made You Look in the World Is Yours came to mind too. I forget who did it, but one of the members in our group put down an eye for an eye, which I agree with. That is one of the best beats he's rapped to. But Mike, what I was surprised when I jumped in and I didn't put my thought in, I was like, nobody thinks Verbal Intercourse is one of the best beats he's ever rapped over.
It's interesting, and it's like again, Nas has rhymed over so many great beats, we
He
forget.
has. And one of those things that I realize is like, yeah, this whole Nas ain't a great beat picker thing is really, really whack
It's
because Mike, I was running
bogus.
Mike, I could think of like I was literally ran through about 15, 20 tracks off the top of my head. I'm like, those beats are great.
Well,
Like
I'm
Mike,
I'm going to the chat right now. People are saying Nas is light. I see the
Nas is
firm. I
like
don't
is
know.
another one.
I don't know if they
You
mean.
want to know crazy, Mike?
Hmm.
People like I've realized a lot of people think that the best Primo Nas collab is Nas is like.
I see eye for an eye. Uh, I see
Yep.
ether. I see get down. I see the world is yours. I see the
Get
stillmatic
down to nothing.
intro. I see memory
Still the
lane. I see one time for your mind. I see you're the
man.
man.
Yes.
I see affirmative action.
No. 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 The hell?
Letter to the king by High Tech. I see verbal
Yeah.
intercourse. It ain't hard to tell.
Yeah.
Um, got yourself a gun. Ooh, I never liked that
No.
one.
No.
Phone tap. I see more money, more murder.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
See, that's what I'm saying. He's got a bunch of those. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Listen to all those. Whoever said more money, more murder, like shout outs. Like that's a gem right there. That beat is dope. That beat is crazy. Like it's not easy to rap over a beat that melodic and that slow.
In between us, silent murder, verbal
Silent Murder, Mike.
intercourse,
Silent Murder played for me today, Mike. That beat knocks.
shootouts. One of my favorite beats on It Was Written.
I can see shootouts, but he's picked better. I told you, Mike, the setup is the real like gem on that album as far as like the storytelling songs. But yeah.
Again, a second childhood. It's a good one. Thief's
Mm-hmm.
theme. Oh, that's one of my favorites too. He
Yes.
sounded right on that, man.
Yeah, Thief's theme
Yeah,
is that
yeah.
beat is
Thief's
crazy.
theme is a beast, man.
That's what I mean. He picks great beats, like he
How is
does.
he? How do people call him the worst beat picker?
Mike, you
That's
want to know
crazy.
like just off of this, Mike? It's like how many MCs like that are considered in his stratosphere have singles with the beat backdrops of Made You Look in the World Is Yours, specifically those two. And you can throw Nas's Like in there. Those are the three singles that he's released, it, but beat wise. And I'm like, yo, name a rapper that got three beats like that, like that's an MC that releases it for a single. That's what like I listened to The World Is Yours today because I just wanted to make sure like for me, Mike, that beat is such a hip hop beat and that song is such a hip hop song. I just wanted to listen to it again today to make sure that it's like the beat. It's like that beat crazy, man. Pete Rock is
Yeah,
nice.
man, it's beautiful, man. Yeah,
Beautiful hip hop record. It's a moment. It really
Pete Rock
is.
is one of my personal favorites. I mean, I think that the bigger question is when they're saying he's the worst beat picker. Well, let me just say it like this: when Vlad says that he's the worst beat picker, who are we talking about? Who are we comparing it to? You know what I'm saying? Are we comparing this to Biggie,
I was about
Jay?
to say because if you're comparing him to Big, that's not fair. Because like for me,
Big got
if you just
Puff.
go, well, if you just go look pound for pound at the tracks Big picked the rhyme over, it's like, well, that's not fair.
Do we even know Big picked those to rhyme over? Because Big even said it himself. Puffy was a big part of that process.
How about this? When I hear something like "I love the dough," I'm like, that's Puff. But when I hear my downfall, I'm like, that's Big.
I don't know, dog. Didn't
Nah,
Puff?
some,
I
some of
mean,
that some of that stuff, like the way it slapped, I'm like, that's that gritty shit. It's like that's Big.
look. Don't get it twisted. Puff has a gritty ear. Have you heard the Black Rob album? It should even if
Man,
you
Mike, he
listen to
got a
Puff
great
Daddy
ear.
and the
I'm like, he got a great ear. He don't have a gritty
he
ear.
does
No,
have a gritty ear. When you
nah.
listen, come on now. I mean, he
He
can do the
got a
shiny
great
stuff.
ear. He don't get a gritty. Biggie got a gritty ear. Machine Gun Funk, my downfall. How about this? Let's go to the primo tracks on Life After Death. Kick in the Door. Oh, that's big. 10 Crack Commandments. Oh, that was the shit that Puff liked. Right.
I think you're basing that on what we know of these individuals as
History. Like
personalities.
right, Mike, on the entirety of the history of all the glittering and glitzy shit that Puff picked versus like the hardcore shit you hear Big Rock on
No,
and
I
Sam.
think you're basing it on what you've heard Puff on as an artist. Because if you listen to Black Rob's album, Black Rob got some gritty shit on there. He
No,
does.
Mike. I love Life Story. Life Story is
Yeah.
one of the most like unheralded great rap albums of all time. Rest in peace, Rob. You know I know some of Rob's people. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, like no, like some of those beats on there are gritty, but also too, and I'm gonna tell you this, Mike, and I know this for a fact. Puff wasn't around like that when Rob was putting that project together. Know that for a fact. When Rob bought Puff the project, that's how it ended up getting delayed. I like the original version of Life Story better. The original version of Life Story don't even have whoa.
Well,
Okay,
well, I mean, he needed whoa, but who put?
album's great without whoa, but he needed whoa.
Yeah, he needed whoa. Who put Easy Mo B with Biggie though?
That's Puff.
Yeah. I mean, look. Again, all I'm saying is Nas never had a Puff.
Oh no.
He
I mean, he
never
had
had a
opportunities.
Puff.
He discussed that. He's discussed that. He had an opportunity for Puff. He declined. He
Yeah.
declined because he wanted to make the world as yours.
But unfortunately, though, if Nas would have went with Puff, more than likely it would have been
Wouldn't
more
have gotten
of
the world as yours.
it
That's what I'm
more
saying.
yeah
He
it
wouldn't have
more
got
than
the
likely
world
would
as
have been
yours.
like a Locks direction because I think that's one of the biggest missteps in the Bad Boy I guess hip hop era is how he mishandled the Locks first album.
It's the misstep in the Bad Boy.
Yeah,
It's
because
not
everything else is damn near on point,
these
even
guys
from
on their
Total.
ass. What are you doing?
I think when the Locks came around, Bad Boy had made so many hits, and everything that came out under the umbrella had hits behind it. And Puff was in a position where it's like, okay, well, I got to make these guys a hit. They don't have the versatility at the time of a Biggie or something, right? So I got to
Listen to what they're
find a
saying. Say
way.
that again out loud. They don't have the versatility of a Biggie. Welcome to the other
That's what I'm
99.9%
saying.
of the rap population. Welcome to the other 99. They're not as versatile as Big. What are we doing? That's what I'm talking about how it's a misstep. Because if that's what he was thinking, that was the most fucked up thought ever. Nobody's ever been as versatile as Big on the mic. That's some simple.
I guess it's just like saying, you're not Michael Jordan. Well, that's not an
Right.
insult.
It's like, oh, you can't go get me 35, 40 off rip? No. No.
You don't have a
You really
48-inch
don't
vertical?
do
It's
that.
nothing I could do with you, man.
Like, I mean, like, Mike, even with NBA shit, I don't think people understand, like, scoring 30 points a game, like, one time is, like, really hard. Doing that shit over the course of a season is, like, how unreal you got to be to do something like
He
that?
did it over the course of 15 years. And we're counting the Wizard era, which, again, I got slammed for even comparing King's Disease 2 to the Wizard era, but the Wizard Jordan was good. I don't understand what the problem is.
Right, if I'm not mistaken, the Wizards era dropped his scoring average like almost 2 points. It was like 32.1,
Yeah,
and it
it
ended up being
was.
30.1.
Yep.
So we're really talking about
I want
somebody
to
that
say
really
it dropped it. It might have just dropped it like a point in 1 point or maybe a point and a half because he still was averaging 22.
right. No, that's what I'm saying. It dropped it almost 2 points, but when he retired the first time, I remember his scoring average was like 32 points. You know how hard that is to go out and ball like that every day for 50? Stop that.
Listen, what 38-year-old and 39? Well, he was 39 and 40. What 39 and 40-year-old in the NBA is averaging 22 points a game? Ever? Tell me, like for real, like some Tom Brady stuff. But
Kareem was averaging 10 points around the same age.
Of course. This
And
is what I
bring
was
up
going
Kareem,
to say.
They spent the same amount of time in college, so the careers is more. You know what I'm saying?
When we talk about Nas's beats, Nas has rhymed on some of the dopest beats ever in hip hop, right? So I guess when they're talking about his beat picking ability, This seems to be a direct reflection of what people think of Jay Z and his beat picking ability. Do you think Jay Z's beat picking ability is just that great, or do you think it's overstated to a degree?
So can I tell you something?
Go ahead.
Everybody. Nas is actually a better beat picker than Jay. Jay is better at picking beats that fit him, though. If you were to actually pull out Nas's 20 strongest beats and Jay's 20 strongest beats, Nas is actually going to win. Jay's a better beat picker on the level of he picks what works for his style better than Nas does.
I'm gonna disagree with you slightly. I
No,
see where you're
you're
going.
not. Let's get to the records then, because I knew you were
No,
going to
no,
say that.
no, no, no.
Like,
Nas has rhymed on some incredible records. I think where
right.
Jay is strong at, Jay has the ability to adjust to beats a little bit better than Nas does. A lot better actually. And I think that
I'll
that
give you
makes
that.
it
Oh,
and I
until the
think
hold on,
that
Mike. That
that
comment
huh?
That comment was valid up until King's Disease 1 and 2, but yes.
Yeah. And so I think that no, you're right, 100%. But in the primes of their career, and so I think it kind of gives the illusion that Jay just picks that much better beats than Nas, whereas I think Jay just adjusted to Swiss coming in, he adjusted to Tim coming in, he adjusted to the Neptunes, he adjusted to Kanye, Just, and all of that. Because before Kanye and Just got on their run, I can't even really say that Jay was just an incredible beat picker. He was just adjusting to, saying some dope producers already. You know what I mean?
No. You want to talk about like the flexibility and the
Yeah.
agility to like rhyme over different styles, beats, and come off well. That's what I'm trying to tell you. It's like, no, he comes off well. Like he's going to fit stuff that fits him more. So let's
Right.
go back to the first Ye interview where he's like, where Jay really got Nas was if that your bitch. And he's not talking about the lyrics. He's talking about the style. He's like, because Nas
Exactly.
couldn't rhyme like that when Jay started rhyming like that. So what that does is that opens up the type of beats that Jay can pick from. Because you're not gonna hear Nas get a track from Timberland like "Is That Your Bitch" because it comes off more like "You Owe Me."
So I grew up in Atlanta, Georgia, for those that don't know. And what I'm saying, the South is the South, you know what I mean? We have a whole different flow when it comes to hip hop and New York MCs, at least when I was growing up in the 90s. You know what I'm saying? We was listening to, well, I was listening to New York MCs and I was considered weird because I was listening to, Wu Tang and stuff like that. But anyway, I remember on the
Right.
school bus, they were playing Jigga What, Jigga Who, and Jay was flipping his flow like that. Kids on the school bus was like, man, LL need to go ahead and give it up to him, man. This man the king of rap. But that versatility is what makes it seem like, I mean, because that
So,
beat is cool, but the beat is dope, and he's been able to adjust to it, right? So it
so
makes it
I'm
look like he's the great beat picker where Nas is falling short. But Nas,
right.
like you said with that Kanye statement, he wasn't like changing it up. And that was one thing that Jay said on the takeover too. Switch up your flow. Your shit is garbage. Are you trying to kick knowledge? He played on
The
that.
first, hold on. The first part of that bar is strong. The second part of that bar is highly ignorant.
It is.
Whatever. You're trying to
100.
knock somebody for picking knowledge with what
Right.
we got going on. I always had a problem with that bar on the back
Well,
end. The
I
front
mean,
end is
Nas
super
answered
dope.
that, you know what I mean? Like, I'm trying to kick that
Hey,
shit you need to learn, though.
that ether, the shit that make your soul burn. So yeah, that's one of the best. Yeah,
Yeah.
that to me, that line is actually the highlight of Ether. But here's the thing. How about this? Like when Ye is talking about how like is that your bitch? Like the ability for Jay to flip it like that. Like for me, Mike, it was actually when I heard Jay get on the Ha remix
That was
because I was like,
trash.
huh?
I ain't
Well,
like his
here's
verse on there.
you didn't like it, but what I was talking. But how about this, Mike? That was the first time that I even heard an MC of his caliber get on a track like that from some down south guys and even have a go of it. And
You're
so
right.
for me, that's
To
when
attempt
Jay
it.
really that's where Jay really took it. Rakim ain't never rhymed on no shit like that. Kane, G Rap,
No,
Nas,
you're
they,
right.
they never did that. They
Biggie
never
wasn't
did
doing
that.
that either. Yeah.
Big, no, I bring up Big too. Big
Yeah.
wasn't doing that either. Neither was Pop, Mike. Like so, like all those dudes that came before Jay, and that's the hustler in him. He's like, no. These down south niggas is like getting it cracking. I'm versatile enough to jump on that wave. That's where he got Nas because you hear him on a lot of stuff where he comes off great, and it's not East Coast based because
Hold on,
that's
hold
what I'm
on. Was
saying.
that before or after Big Pun got on Mr. Serv-On shit?
It's a valid question. I don't recall offhand. Valid
No,
question.
No Limit was a little different because the East Coast was rocking with No Limit, or vice versa. Maybe Master P was getting those placements because I remember, um, um,
That's P's
um,
witness, man.
right. I remember Mystical and ODB getting on the same song. You know what I'm
I
saying?
remember that. That
Yeah,
was dope.
yeah.
That was dope. When they
That
did. That
was
record was.
dope. I remember Jay-Z was on I Got the Hookup soundtrack, right?
But listen to what I'm saying. We had never heard an MC of Jay's caliber be willing to step in that realm that came out of New York. Never. And so for me, that's where he kind of took it because in 1998, you think Nas was about to rap on How?
Well, Unknown Name says Tupac was on the Down South record. He's talking about Scarface, I'm sure. Scarface is a little
My
different. He's an
homies?
outlier.
You talking about my homies?
He's talking about my homies, and I'm sure he's talking about Smile, or, Ice
Smile?
Cube was
Hold on.
on,
When is Smile? When is Smile? 97? That's 97.
was it 96 or 97? Yeah, I think it was 97, yeah.
Okay. I'm going to give him the Pac thing, but Face is different. But
Face
okay.
is very different. Cube was on Face shit, too, so.
He's on the diary. Hand
Yeah,
of the dead body.
yeah. Yeah, Face is a little different. He's an outlier, but yeah, I guess
Face
stylistically, though.
retiring, Mike.
What's that?
Face retiring. I'm sad.
I mean,
Like, you're retiring.
he says he's retiring, man. We'll see. I mean, I think great musicians never really retire. I think that he's probably
It's like, I don't think he's going to record another album, Mike.
Why did he say he's retiring?
I mean, you know what he's been going through personally with the, his son
Right.
giving him, I mean, that would strike me as the type of thing. He ran for a city council seat a couple of years ago, if memory serves. It might have been last year.
Right.
He OG with it. You know what I'm saying? He been not having the rap. It's just like, I still want to hear him rap.
LP says Raekwon and Outkast. Yeah, that was 98.
That was
Around the same time. I think Raekwon. But see, again, I think that, let's be perfectly honest, though. I think Face and Outkast,
I'm about to say, facing out, like, y'all
they're a
bringing up
little
Face
bit more
and
East Coast influence. I understand what you're saying,
How
where
about this?
Cash
Face
Money
and
was.
Outkast.
Yeah.
How about this? Face and Outkast specifically are the reason that Jay is on the Juvenile How remix. Like, that
Right.
group and that guy are the reason that he sees it and are down there. And that's what I mean. Like, well, it's a little different because, well, they're kind of the reason that those guys started coming down. You feel me?
Slick Rick and Outkast. I remember that. That was a dope record.
98. That's 99. That's 99, actually.
Yeah, that was 99. Oh, speaking of Slick Rick, what about Slick Rick and Jermaine Dupri? Yeah.
Isn't that 98?
That was 97, I believe. Or was that 98?
I think that's 98, too.
You might be right. No. I think that was 97. I'll go back and check.
Yeah, we got to go back and check.
But yeah, I mean, I understand what you mean, though, where it was like.
But that's what I'm saying. Even all these guys that we're naming, even Slick Rick, lyrically not Jay. That's what I'm talking about. An MC of his weight. Like, you got to understand, like, Jay in 98 dropped Volume 1, had dropped Reasonable Doubt, was a Biggie, Nas, Rakim, Kane, caliber MC.
Leo Manning's bringing up Biggie and the Brat, the B-side. I never knew that you never had a clue on who was the king of the street.
The Brat's from Chicago.
Yeah, the Brat is from Chicago.
Brat's from Chicago.
I don't know why people think that the Brat's from. I guess Jermaine.
She been down here and got roots here for so long, and that's cool. But like, she Chi-Town with.